Did you know you were going to do this interview with me and my wife both?
A threesome with Chris Moneymaker. Who would have expected it? All right.
Did you wake up to on a Tuesday morning?
Yeah, no kidding. Welcome to episode 1 of All-In with Collin. I am your host, Collin Capone. I'm very excited. Thanks for being here. I think we're going to start the show off with a couple of Chris's. Chris Robinson, he won a Platinum Pass. We're going to tell the story behind that. And later in the show, we're going to interview Chris Moneymaker, the legend. We're going to have some fun. We're going to do some trivia with him. He's going to give some tips to some Platinum Pass winners and talk about what he's been up to. So I'm not going to slow roll you, so let's get right into it. All right, I'd like to welcome my first guest to the show. He's a recreational poker player from Canada. He's a moderator for the popular online forum Cards Chat and a PokerStars Platinum Pass winner, Chris Robinson. Chris, welcome to All In with Collin. How are you?
I'm good, Collin. Thanks for having me today.
Hey, thanks for being here. So you must be getting excited. You're just, 3 weeks away from heading to the Bahamas?
A bit less than that now. It's definitely coming fast now that the holidays are over. It's a bit scary how fast it's coming up.
Yeah, I can imagine. So maybe let's just take us back to the day when you won it. Tell the story. What were you doing?
Well, yeah, so it was a Friday night. I was finishing up my league game for Cards Chat as I do most Friday nights, and I was grinding the chest and ladders promotion that PokerStars had got going on for us here in Ontario, which was basically a promotion where if you accumulated 100 points through rake, which was, for me, it's two $10 spin and goes a day, got a dice roll, get to the end of the board, and you had basically a 50-50 shot of winning either a $10 satellite ticket or a $20 satellite ticket. But there was a 1 in 201 shot of actually pulling the pass, and got to the end of the board. I rolled a 3, opened the last chest. Congratulations, here you go. Opened up the last chest, and there it was staring at me in my face. And it was weird because at first it didn't register. It came up and it said PSPC 30 package. I didn't process the K at first.
You're thinking you want a ticket or something.
Yeah, right. And it's, I'm not dumping on stars or anything like that. When you open up a chest, you know, the little thing and the little thing comes up and you're surprised. And I don't know, I would have expected that if it was a huge $30,000 platinum pass, that there would be something else to go with it.
Well,
but
you know what?
Just like any other chest, just popped up, and I read it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, $30. I must have won a $10 and a $20 ticket. Cool. So I went back to the lobby and I went looking and didn't have any tickets. I'm like, that's weird. Went looking for these $10 and $20 satellites, and it dawned on me that there was nothing in the lobby. So I'm like, what the heck was this? And I went back, read it again, and it said PSPC 30K package. And that's when it started to dawn on me that no, I'm looking at a platinum pass. I'm not looking at a satellite ticket.
Yeah. So at that point, were you just like, I can't imagine your emotions. You're probably like, is this real? Like, did you get an email, or how long did it take before you heard from someone from Stars confirming that you did win a platinum pass?
Yeah, longer than it probably should have.
Okay.
So I'm staring at, I think I stood and stared at the computer for probably no less than 5 minutes, just trying to comprehend what I was actually looking at. I'm like, okay, went back, checking my account, checked my email, nothing. I'm like, this is weird. This doesn't feel right. So contacted support, asked them the question. They said, well, yeah, there's actually nothing in your last chest. So here, we'll issue you a $20 satellite ticket. I'm like, wait, hold on. No. The chest said this. It said that I won a platinum pass. And that's when they're like, oh, we're going to have to refer you to another department. So a bit of back and forth. About 20 minutes later, somebody came out and was like, yeah, can we have a Zoom call with you? We want to chat with you quick. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm in my pajamas. Like, no, I'm not prepared for a Zoom call. And they're like, okay, get it. But congratulations, you won a platinum pass. Wow.
So did your wife know at this point? Had you filled her in thinking I might have won?
After I had got confirmation, I went up and I told her, and she was obviously very, very ecstatic and very overwhelmed, I think, by it as well at the same time. So yeah, it was quite a Friday night in the household here.
I know when I saw you tweet out an image of your chest when it said 30K Platinum Pass.
Yeah.
And I was so excited for you because I've seen you out there grinding the Twitter, the competitions. You're very similar to me, a weekend warrior, grinding, kids, all that. Play when you can, play on your phone. And now you get to go play a 25K in the Bahamas. Very excited for you. So were you able to swing it? Does your wife get to go? Did you get time off work? What's going on there? Who's going with you?
Yeah, she actually is not going with me, unfortunately. Um, her work, she's a kindergarten teacher, God love teachers. Her board did not let her take time off for 2 years.
No.
So unfortunately, she is not coming with me.
Do you have anyone going with you? Are you going solo? Are you taking that puppy dog with you?
I am going solo. I'm not taking the dog. I don't think the dog would do too well on the plane. No, I'm going to end up going solo, which is a bummer. It's a big bummer, but I'm trying to look at the bright side and be like, okay, I don't have to worry about other people with me or what time dinner is or what they're doing, on the beach or if they're going to Atlantis or whatever they're doing on the island.
Yeah, perfect.
It's
you can focus.
Exactly. It's me and the poker table, and that's going to be the extent of it. So it's we'll make the best of a bad situation. Unfortunately, it would have been really nice to have, somebody, but just with the COVID pandemic and passport situations, and it just wasn't in the cards. So no, it's me, myself, and I going. Unfortunately,
listen, if you can even get a min cash, I'm sure then hey, the family they'll get a big reward at the end of that. I mean,
100%. That's the plan. We want to get into the money. I'm not going just to sit down at a table, go all in, and then enjoy a 5-day vacation in the Bahamas. This is more of a business trip, I guess, is the good way to look at it. So.
Yeah, but I'm sure you'll have some fun. I mean, you're there. It's going to be a great experience. It's going to be a lot of your poker heroes there, I assume. Things like that. I heard that Poker Stars, they have like a Platinum Pass group. It's going to be like a bit of a meetup in Ontario somewhere. Were you aware of that? Were you going to that?
Yes. So that's happening Saturday. So you think I'm lucky. I know you are pretty lucky in terms of what you've been able to accomplish with your winnings. But Jen Carter won 2 Platinum Pass. She won in 2019. She's won again.
I saw that. Amazing.
Outrageous. So yes, there is a meetup game on Saturday that's going to be happening. I think most of the 14 people from Ontario that won a Platinum Pass are going to be attending this. So it's going to be really cool to meet people and get a sense of what this group from Ontario is going to be before we get there. From what I understand, it is being recorded for potential use in the broadcast. Don't really know what that looks like yet. I have no idea what we're walking into, but yeah, so we're going to meet some of them on Saturday, and you'll probably see some of the shenanigans that'll entail at some point during the broadcast during the week of the PSPC.
Yeah, and then if you can hit it off with some of those people, then you'll have a bit of camaraderie, and you won't feel like you're alone there. You'll be rooting each other on.
Exactly. Yes.
I love that they put that together. That'll be awesome. So 14 of you from Ontario. That's awesome. So you head out when exactly then?
So most of us are flying out the Saturday or the Sunday. I'm going Sunday morning. There's a few of us that are on a bit of a later flight that's leaving out of Toronto, and I think we're doing it at the Bahamas just after 1 o'clock. So
perfect. That'll be awesome. So you have a day to just kind of unwind, check out the resort, and then like you said, all to business on the Monday.
Yeah, I'm actually debating about playing. There's a 550 that's going to be happening that afternoon. So I'm debating about playing that because I want to get a feel for the room, feel for playing live again. So I'm debating about playing the 550 that's going to happen on the Sunday just to kind of, get rid of any of the nervous jitters or anything like that, and then get myself rested and focused for Monday in the day one.
I think that would be a great idea. When is the last time you played live then?
Pre-COVID, so I don't even remember.
Wow, yeah. So
a few years.
I think that might be a good idea for you, just so you're not, regretting that on Monday. So Ontario, not much for live poker, and out here in Alberta, man, we have so much live poker. It's crazy.
Bit of jealousy because I know the circuit event just started at Deerfoot. I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
This week. So
did you see Kevin Martin got heads up and
I did see that.
Second,
yes.
Wow.
I did see that. Yeah, I don't know if he's coming to the Bahamas. I know he was there in 2019, but always a fan of him. Always nice to see him do well, and yeah, definitely good start for him during the series, getting the second place yesterday.
Yeah, that's incredible. Is there anybody that you're looking forward to meeting? Anybody that you really wanted to meet, or is there just a bunch of people in general?
Honestly, I think the list would be too long, Colin. I've
Yeah,
started to see, some of the pros that have been posting their schedules around who's going to be there and not. And it definitely feels like a lot of the pros have made the time to go. I mean, if I was a pro, I would be going. Think
for
about the
sure.
money that's going to be out there. There's 400 of us that are going to be in there on a free roll. 10 million is already in the prize pool, and we're 2.5, 3 weeks away from it starting. It's going to be an enormous tournament, and I would think that there's going to be a lot of pros that are going to be circling that one because they want to get some of that dead money.
Yeah, I agree. I see at first I didn't see much hype for this event, but lately the last week it's starting to ramp up. So I think you're right. I think it's going to be huge.
There wasn't, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that December was such a big month for poker. There was, the WPT in Vegas, there was EPT Prague happening, there was all these other things going on, and then of course there's the holidays, right? So, now that all that's out of the way, it seems like anything you're seeing on poker Twitter or any of the big news sites, it's all about the PSPC coming up in 3 weeks.
Right on. Well, you look pretty relaxed. I think you're looking pretty prepared for a guy who hasn't played live poker in a couple of years.
What do I have to lose?
Yeah, exactly. That
Right?
is a great
That's
attitude.
it. There's no pressure. Like I already won with the vacation and who we're gonna. Everything else is gravy. So we're just gonna
That's
go have fun
awesome.
and see what we can do.
Enjoy the experience. I'm super excited for you, and we'll be rooting you on. Keep us updated.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for having me on, Colin. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks very much. All right, that was Chris Robinson. If you want to follow Chris Robinson on Twitter to see how he does at the PSPC, check him out. You can reach him at Chris Robinson81. That's at Chris Robinson81. All right, from one Chris to another, let's go to Chris Moneymaker and find out what he's up to. All right, I'm very excited to welcome my next guest to the show. He helped kick off the poker boom when he won the World Series of Poker Main Event in 2003. He is the owner of the Moneymaker Social Club in Kentucky, current ACR Team Pro, crusher of chess, destroyer of PayPal, and the 2022 North Point Winter Formal Chair, Chris Moneymaker. Chris, welcome to All In with Collin. How are you?
You know way too much about me, Colin. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, thanks. Yeah, you share a lot on Twitter, so yeah, no, it's good.
Well, first of all, my wife is the chairman of that committee. I'm not part of it. I was just tasked with the impossible task of trying to find a name that was up to her standards, which, obviously as a married man, is kind of an impossible task.
For sure. So what did the name end up being? I seen some hilarious choices when you put it on Twitter. You said, "Oh, what have I done? This is a big mistake."
Hey, honey, what did the name end up being for the dance? She said, "Crap." No, it was not Snowball. It's not Snowball, is it? Huh? Blizzard Ball.
Blizzard Ball. That's pretty good. That's better than my testosterone Toblerone suggestion, I guess.
I was going for that when I pushed for it, and she said, "No, that's just stupid." But that's what wives do. Did you know you were going to do this interview with me and my wife both?
A threesome with Chris Moneymaker. Who would have expected it? All right.
Did you wake up to on a Tuesday morning?
Yeah, no kidding. All right. So last year in the summer, you opened up the Moneymaker Social Club. How's that thing going?
It's going good. I mean, it was a concept I'm trying to get off the ground to see how difficult it is to run these things without me being there all the time. Most of the time when you open up a club or a business, you want to be there pretty much nonstop. And I just honestly don't have that ability. So
how far of drive is it for you?
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. Yeah, that's a bit of a drive for sure. So are you the sole owner of it?
Yep, I'm the sole owner. And I make the drive more than I want to. It's a pretty slow drive. It's a long 3.5 hours. But yeah, I'm the sole owner. And I plan on trying to open up more. If things go well, we're, new business. We've hit speed bumps. We've hit some good things, some bad things. It's all a learning process. I just hired a new tournament director. We'll be making that announcement soon. And starting a tour, and I'll be making that announcement soon. So
cool.
Got a lot of fun things planned. But it's kind of tough when it's just me and another guy trying to do it all ourselves.
So a tour you mentioned, so like a tour at the Moneymaker Social, I'm assuming, or like you're talking about going elsewhere?
Oh, we're gonna go elsewhere. We're gonna
Oh,
go.
cool.
We're gonna start a big tour, going throughout the U.S., maybe some other countries, but starting in the U.S.
Oh, cool. Maybe Canada, maybe Edmonton.
You know, maybe during the summer. We don't do cold. We had that Arctic blast come through a couple weeks ago, and I just thought about you, Colin, and it's like this is how Colin lives every day, and I felt sorry
Yeah,
for
I
you.
saw that, and I saw how everyone was reacting in the US, and I thought, man, this is just a regular old Tuesday for us. What's going on here? But yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
can
see,
see if you're not prepared for it, and then you don't have winter tires, you don't have winter jackets. I assume like it's
well, I
probably
mean, we can afford winter jackets down here. They do. The problem is our outdoor plumbing is relatively new, so
uh,
their pipes freeze, and they don't insulate them too well. So we actually had a pipe freeze and bust.
oh, brutal.
Yeah, yeah. Again, we're not prepared like you guys are.
Yeah, for sure. Even in some parts of Canada, like Vancouver, they got hit with a bunch of wet snow and then it froze. And then I was watching all these videos on TikTok, and cars are just sliding down the hill one after another into each other because they don't have winter tires. Like here, as soon as October hits, you put on your winter tires and you're good to go.
You want to talk about winter stuff and all. I see all the flamingos in the background, and I mean, like you look like you're very tropical up there.
I have to, try to get through the winter and not be depressed. So I have to, brighten it up a bit.
It's so bright, you got to wear shades back there. Good.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. All right. So, yeah.
By the
So
way, am I getting roses again?
Yeah, Valentine's is coming up. That was hilarious because I got an email reminder showing that 1 year ago I sent you flowers, and it was trying to get me to redo it again.
I sent you the reminder, by the way.
Or your wife did. I hope they ended up with your wife, maybe. I don't know. Did you re-gift them?
Well, I mean, you've seen Ryan Roses, right? Have you ever heard of Ryan's Roses?
No.
You have? How do you not? Okay. Ryan's Roses is the concept where Ryan Seacrest on the radio gets on and calls up. If someone is suspected of being cheating, they call up the person and offer them to give them free roses to send to whoever they want. And they try to trap them into sending them to someone other than their wife or significant other. So
Oh, hilarious.
I passed the Ryan's Roses test. I gave them to my wife, and
perfect.
Yeah.
So for those of you listening that don't know, so last year for Valentine's Day, I made a video and Chris was a part of it. He was very generous with his time. But what I did was I asked Alexa to send roses to the love of my life. And then it shows a few days later, my wife comes in. Hey, I see an invoice here showing roses were delivered, but I never got any roses. So then I asked Alexa, where did you send the roses? And she said, to the love of your life, Chris Moneymaker. And then it shows a video of Chris opening the roses, wondering how I got his address. So maybe I'll put a link to that for those of you who didn't see it. So that was funny. So yeah, I don't know.
And my wife was wondering where the roses came from too.
Yeah,
you almost got me divorced last year. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad she's still with you. Now you're co-chairing winter formal dances. Okay, so this is going to be the podcast I have is geared towards amateur players who are going to be trying to win a big score or win a live event package. Earlier in the episode, I had Chris Robinson on. He's a Canadian amateur player who won a Platinum Pass in one of those chests on PokerStars. Lucky guy. I think I got it. I got to get like $1.50 in it. He got a Platinum Pass, but so he's going in a couple of weeks to the Bahamas to play the 25K. And it came up in the conversation that since COVID, live poker where he lives in Toronto is pretty non-existent, and he hasn't been able to play a live tournament for over 2 years. So do you have any advice for him going in cold to play a 25K?
I mean, honestly, just poker doesn't, I mean, it changes obviously, but don't try to change your game. Just do what you normally do after, the first couple hours or first couple minutes, really, you revert back to what, play your game. Obviously if you have time, which you really don't, because the PCA, PSPC, whatever is in 2 weeks, really makes it tough to study and to improve your game. So don't try to do anything overly creative. If I were to do anything that would help my studying like right away, I would probably get charts and learn pre-flop GTO charts. So at least making correct decisions pre-flop will help you make better decisions on later streets. It'll keep you out of more trouble on later streets. I would take those GTO charts and I would probably play a little bit tighter than what they recommend. You know, you don't want to be stuck in a lot of tough spots. And for people that have never studied charts, I mean, you know, they're a little bit more, I guess, open, or they offer a lot more flexibility with hand selection than you might realize. And they tell you to open up, you know, hands king 7 suited, king 8 suited, 9-10 suited, and things of these nature, which you know, is perfectly fine if you're comfortable opening a lot of, you know, enough hands. But when you're playing a 25K, you generally, like, my advice would be to sit back, try to make it through the first day. That's how I won the main event, was just try to make it through that day. Didn't play any hands unless I got really big hands, and the structure is such that it's pretty slow. So for the first day or so, you're going to be able to get away with it as long as you don't take any super bad beats. The different, you know, really what differentiates between someone like me or, you know, another quote unquote pro player versus someone like him is we're going to be accumulating small stacks, you know, small pots throughout the day, and we're going to build up our stacks. So when we take a hit where we lose jacks to ace king or ace king to jacks, whatever that, you know, cooler might be, we flip might be, we can usually sustain 1 or 2 of those hits because we've accumulated enough small pots. Doing the strategy that I'm kind of recommending, you almost got to win your, you know, if you stick around and do it for 2-3 days, you're going to have to win your first big all in. That's the only negative to that. The positive is you keep yourself out of a lot of trouble giving away a lot of chips. I mean, it's almost better for an amateur not to be getting there and mixing it up and just giving away small pots by playing, you know, sort of fit or fold, where, you know, you hit the flop, you continue. If you miss, you give up. And before you know it, you've called off half of your stack trying to hit flops, and you're complaining to your wife, significant other, friends, whatever, that you just can't hit anything, and you're running so cold and you can't make pairs, and your ace king never hits, your pairs always come out with overcards on them. You avoid all that by just tightening up your range and playing premiums and going real aggressive with those. It's not near as much fun, but it'll be a lot more fun when you cash for 30,000 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
when
for
you min
sure.
cash.
A min cash would be huge. I think that's great advice. Yeah, you don't want to whittle your stack away and just be, you know, regretting it at the end of the day one if you bust or something. So that's great advice. I really thought you were going to say, read this book here. You know, so the Moneymaker book, this is your book that you wrote after you won the World Series Main Event, and I read it. So I wanted to have some fun and see how much you still remember from this book. Have you read this book in a long time? Have you ever read it?
Yeah, of course I read it. I helped ghostwrite it. I read it probably 5 or 6 times, but it's been 20 years. And obviously, if you're reading that book to try to improve your poker game, I can see why you're starting a podcast and not playing poker.
It's actually a really good read. I like it because it's not all strategy or anything like that. It's just
Or
like it
no
actually
strategy.
Yeah, and it recaps like your main event experience. It's actually really cool. Let's see how much you remember. So here's some trivia for you. Do you remember what you ate for breakfast on day 1 of the main event at Binion's?
I mean, I'm sure it was bacon and eggs.
That's right. Bacon, eggs, home fries, and a glass of orange juice to wash it down. Perfect.
Yeah,
that's my kind of breakfast.
That's a pretty standard breakfast. So that one was pretty easy.
Okay. Let's see. How about this? What kind of shades were you wearing?
Oakley's.
Oakley? Do you remember the model or anything?
I don't remember the model. I know they were orange. They had an orange tint to them.
Perfect.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I know my friend gave them to me.
2 for 2, Oakley straight jacket shades. Okay, now they're getting a bit harder. So end of day 1. Do you remember who the chip leader was?
Oh, no, I know I was like 4th or 3rd or 6th, one of the two. I had 60,000, but I have no clue who the chip leader was.
It was Greg Greenstein. 94,775. And you were in 11th actually, but you nailed your chip stack. That was going to be a bonus question. 60,000. You're right.
Well, that one was easier. I don't care who's in front of me or behind me. So that was a trick question.
All right. So day 2 says you built up your stack to 180,000. You're feeling good. And then the Michael Jordan of poker got moved to your table. Do you remember who that was?
Really? It's pretty hard to not. And it's actually the Tiger Woods of poker, is I think what they refer to him as.
I think in the book it says the Michael Jordan of poker.
It might have. I don't know. We went back and forth. Maybe Michael Jordan was bigger back then. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, of course it was Phil Helmuth, of course.
No, you made a mistake there. It was
No, I did not. I know
actually
who exactly it is. Give me a break. But everybody knows that Helmuth's the GOAT. If you just don't believe it, just ask him.
Oh my God. But in your book, guess who it was? It was Johnny Chan.
Of course.
Johnny Chan, yes. There was
The
a lot of
perfect
rounders,
player.
a lot of rounders talk in your book. And then you ended up busting the Michael Jordan of poker at your table on day 3. Do you remember what the hand was? It was a pretty big hand.
Yeah, of course. I had ace 8 of hearts. He had king deuce of hearts. Flop came ace high with 3-4 of hearts. No, he had ace 5 of hearts.
Perfect.
Or king 5 of hearts. He wanted it. He needed the deuce of hearts.
You're right.
Or he needed a deuce is what he needed. He
had to go running straight. I think he had. So you nailed it. You had ace 8 heart. He had king heart 5 of hearts. Flop was an ace, one dime, ace of diamonds, 3-4 heart. Turn was a 9. You locked it up.
Yep.
All right. I thought this trivia would be a little harder for you, 20 years. But anyways, my favorite question is, after you won the main event, you went to a seedy strip club and you were buying drinks for everyone. You ran up a huge 25K tab. You had only 15K on you, and they wouldn't. Yes, you're right. They wouldn't let your group leave until it was paid. And a girl with your group celebrating knew somebody who came down and loaned you the extra 10K. And you're right, Huck seats. It bailed you out, or you'd have been sitting in the slammer.
I passed. It was easy.
Yeah, that was well done. Very good.
You kind of remember, probably the most important thing. Top 5 things that happen in your life. So
yes, for sure. That was brilliant though. Great job on that. I mentioned PayPal, destroyer of PayPal in your intro there. How is that going? The lawsuit they took a bunch of your funds that you were holding for a fantasy league, and then you riled up the troops and got a lawyer to sue them. How is that working out?
Well, kind of weird story. I got on and my account was frozen for 180 days, like a lot of people I've seen has happened to them. And then eventually, when it was coming time I'd paid out the fantasy league out of my own money and was going to get the money, back later just to refund myself essentially. Well, comes to find out they took the money saying that I broke their terms of condition somehow, and for every infraction they were going to take $2,500 of my money till it was basically gone. So they took the whole $13,000, and I got on Twitter and started blasting them, talking about suing them and yada this and that. I hired a lawyer. Lo and behold, about a week and a half later, all my money was back in my account. They didn't send me anything, they didn't tell me anything, but just my account was active and there was money in my account.
Wow. So
I pulled the money out, went to my account, got all my money back. And, I'm assuming they were hoping that was going to be the end of it. But unfortunately for them, my voice was big enough, I guess, to get my money back, but other people have in the same situation that I was in. And they don't have the voice, and therefore they aren't getting their money back. So I continued on with the lawyer. I couldn't be part of the suit, but I'm just a promoter, or what term did we use? A consultant on the suit. Lena Evans, who runs the Poker League of Nations, stepped up and is one of the lead plaintiffs now in the suit. And I mean, I haven't checked on it recently, but we've gone international with the suit. I know we have thousands of people that take part in the suit that are, part of the class action suit. I know we lost something to do with the class action where we couldn't do it because they have something in their clause that says you can't, but we're fighting our way around it. When we got into this, I knew it was going to be a very long, there's no legal battle that's going to be done in probably 10 years. I mean, it was something of this magnitude. So, I mean, it's been going on now for maybe a year, 2 years, something like that. I think maybe this is the second year. So as far as like updates and stuff, there's unfortunately just, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know exactly what's going on. I know that they've got a website up. They've made progress. They keep enlisting people to sue PayPal. And I get messages at least once a week, if not twice a week, from someone that PayPal screwed, and they're like, hey, how can you help me get my money back? And basically I've got it where I can just copy and paste it now. It's like, I theoretically cannot help you get your money back. All I can do is connect you with my attorney, and it's going to be a very long process. You know, if you choose to go this route, just be aware that I'm not going to be able to give you updates and know the status of your case. You obviously can go a different route, but this is the course that I've set out to try to help as many people as possible. But unfortunately, I don't have any information as far as if you will get your money back, when you will get your money back, or anything like that. Because I'll have people that are in the case and they'll be hitting me up. It's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, all I know is the legal system works really, 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 really slow. So, unfortunately, it's not like, hey, I'm going to get part of the lawsuit and you get your money back.
Sure.
I wish it was that simple, obviously, but the only thing I can say is we do have people fighting for you. If you have a problem with PayPal, jump on board, and hopefully, we end up winning and get people money back.
Yeah, perfect. I think everyone probably, is really happy that you're doing that, because otherwise, people that don't have the resources or don't have an attorney and PayPal just steamrolls them, takes their money, and they can't do anything.
One thing that a lot of people don't understand, and I guess I want to make this clear when it comes to the PayPal thing, it's not just poker players, it's not just gamblers. I mean, we've got charities, we've got just everyday people that receive money, and it seems like whenever you get a big enough sum, it doesn't have to be that big. We have some that, there's a few thousand. They'll just take it for no reason. They don't have to give you justification. They don't have to tell you why. They just basically say, you broke our terms of service, we're stealing your money. And that's the end of it. There's no recourse for you. There's no way to get it back. If people really understood how bad it was, no one in the world would ever use PayPal. And it just sickens me now that you see so many companies using PayPal when they are out here just, deliberately stealing money from people.
That's
with no
terrible.
good reason.
That's
So,
terrible.
I'm not doing this just for poker players. It's really for all walks of life. It's affecting everybody.
Yeah, that is very big of you, a man of the people. So something more positive now. So what else do you have going on? I know you're really busy. So what all have you been working on?
So, we opened up a social club in Paducah, Kentucky. So that's pretty much a half-time job. And then I'm working on opening up another one or two of those. We're doing research and trying to lobby and, get the right okays from different county officials. So we're working on that. I'm working on a new poker tour that we're going to be starting in March. It's going to be going around the country, doing, poker tournaments like everybody's seeing around the country, just a little bit different. I hope people will, like we're doing some extra mixed games and some other things that hopefully will appeal to people. We're going to start that in March. Just hired a new tournament director, which I'm really excited about. He's got a lot of years experience in the industry. So all that stuff's going great. And then, obviously I'm a representative ambassador for America's Card Room. We are currently planning the next Punter's Pad, which happens during the World Series of Poker. I've been tasked with getting the house, getting the producers, and getting the talent all on board. So that's been a nice, fun experience, learning experience. And, just in general, trying to help ACR move into the next phase of growth. We're always fighting cheating scripts and bots and RTA. I mean, that's some of our biggest priorities. Trying to get the new mobile client out is, it seems like there's never an end to what needs to be done. But I'll be honest, it's a fun project. It's something that I really believe I can add value to. And I like the people I'm working with. Some people may disagree, but I think Phil's one of the greatest people ever. He's super genuine, super nice, willing to help anybody. So I'm real happy working with ACR, and I imagine I'll be with them for a very, very long time.
Awesome. Very good. I'm glad. It sounds like you got a pretty full plate. One thing I'd like to know about the social club. So do people actually, when they go there, do they actually play pool or shuffle? Do you have shuffleboard? Do you have a bubble hockey game?
We do not have a bubble hockey game. We're not in Canada, Colin.
If you
We don't
had
know.
one, I might make the flight there because bubble hockey is pretty legit.
Well, if it brings you down, I'll go lease a bubble hockey table.
Perfect.
Our next location we'll have more room. So like right now we've got about 5,400 square feet. We have 3 pool tables, shuffleboard, dart boards, golden tee, poker tables. We do have a bar, even though we haven't got approved for liquor yet. We're doing BYOB right now. But you put all that in there and that kind of eats up all your space. Our next place is probably going to have closer to 13,000 square feet. So we'll be able to put in bubble hockey machines. So the first one goes in. I expect you on a plane coming down, and I'll teach you how to play some bubble hockey.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks, Chris. I really appreciate you taking time out of your full schedule here to chat with me. And thanks for being, so, kind to me over the years on Twitter. We've kind of developed a relationship there, and I appreciate that. And not just me, like I see you doing it with all sorts of people, just a genuine, down to earth, great ambassador for the game. And on behalf of everyone, I would just like to say thank you.
Listen, I appreciate you, and I thank all my fans, but you hold a special place in my heart because I don't have to shop for Valentine's presents as long as you're around.
Awesome. I better get to work then for both you and my wife. Thanks,
Yep.
Chris.
Thank you. Take care,
Thanks.
Colin.
All right, and now it's time for Colin's Pick of the Week. This is where I give you a tournament that I think has really high value for the listeners, and I hope to see some of the listeners run really deep in. This week, as part of the mini millions going on GG Poker right now, there's a mini global millions. It's $5 buy-in and has a whopping $300,000 guarantee. There's day ones running around the clock, so it doesn't matter where you live, you can hop into a day one. If you finish the day one after 18th level, you carry your chip stack over into the final day, day two, you're in the money, and then you're playing for that big guarantee. So let's get some listeners into that. Day two of the $5 buy-in, $300,000 guarantee, mini global millions on GG Poker. All right, so that's a wrap on episode 1 of All In with Colin. Thanks for listening. Let me know on Twitter what you thought of the show, if you liked it or if you got any feedback. And like my kid said, Dad, don't forget, tell them to hit like and share your podcast. So please do that. And I'll be back next week with an all new episode. What are you still doing here? The podcast is over. See you next week.